It's not a good day to be a bad guy.
What's up, metalheads? This is Wayne.
And Michelle.
And we are from the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. And you are listening to
Burton and Aaron on the Lost in the Dark podcast.
Raise your horns.
Lost in the dark.
Welcome back, Crypt Crow! Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Lost in the Dark podcast. My name's Burton, and tonight we welcome, for the first time on the show, Chance, the bassist from Bound by Years, Colorado's own Bound by Years. Fantastic fucking band. Cannot recommend them enough. And Chance and I had a great fucking conversation. This was absolutely... Oh, man, it was a legendary one, and I can't wait to get to talk to him again and to get to talk to the rest of the band. But, as always, we got to start, before we get into it, real quick with some shout-outs. First up, we got the Dipping Milk and Cookies podcast over there from Wisconsin. Join our brothers and your hosts, Garrett, the Cookie Commander Smith, and Mike, the Master Milker Segovia, as those two best friends try to figure out this thing we call life using friends, guests, and microphones. Absolutely one of my favorite podcasts going right now. I look forward to every single new episode, and they have amazing segments. And if you follow them, links in the description below. If you follow them on Facebook, they do like a question of the week thing every week, a few questions every week, and if you respond, they'll read your response live on the show. So it's fucking awesome, amazing fan interaction. Love these guys to death. Of course, Garrett is the guitarist for the Milwaukee band Reflection of Flesh, who we've had on quite a few times, and we're going to see them live for the first time coming up on Halloween night, so I'll talk about them again in a second. But everybody be sure to check out all things Dipping Milk in Cookies podcast, especially their Facebook page. But like, review, subscribe as well. Next up, our Michigan family, our Michigan podcast family, the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast, coming to you from the glacial dumping ground known as the Michigan Basin. Wayne and Michelle are an educator, husband and wife, and podcasting duo that examine UFOs and other paranormal topics within Michigan and beyond. Topics include UFOs, the paranormal, conspiracy theories, Bigfoot, alternative history, the Michigan Dogman, Bigfoot, cryptids, and all things strange and mysterious. You heard them on the top of this one. They did a read for us. We did a read for them. They are straight up family at this point. Love them to death. I am a huge paranormal person. I've been into it since I was a child. It's like my other passion besides heavy metal. And like, this is probably my favorite paranormal podcast that I've ever found. And their story is an extraordinarily unique one, how they got into it and everything, their background, everything combined. I've never heard anybody else like them, so I cannot recommend them enough. Again, it's the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. Everybody be sure to check all things Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. But without further ado, wait, we do have one more. Yeah, sorry. We do have that one last shout out for the show coming up on Halloween night at the Diesel Concert Lounge in Michigan. We got Hate Unbound, Pestilent Age, Our Brothers Battlecross, Our Brothers Reflection of Flesh, Our Brothers in War. The Breathing Process just came out with a new one called The Labyrinth. Check it out now. Our family over there in fucking convalescence, all of them in support of Michigan's own legends, Battlecross. Come the fuck on. Battlecross is super influential to me, and like, they were like every show I went to opening when I was growing up, coming up in Michigan, as you know, going to all the shows and everything. They open damn near every single one, and I love them to death. I haven't seen them in many years, so I'm extremely thrilled to have the opportunity to see them again live on Halloween night. It's my first ever show on Halloween night. Again, it's at the Diesel Concert Lounge on All Hallows Eve. We got Hate Unbound, Pestilent Age, Recorruptor, Reflection of Flesh, War, The Breathing Process, The Convalescence, and Battlecross. Come the fuck on, people. It's a once-in-a-lifetime show. It's going to be absolutely incredible, and I cannot fucking wait. Everybody that can be there, be there. Lost in the Dark will be there. Recorrupt will be there. Convalescence will be there. Most of Balgraith will be there. Like, everyone will be there. Oh, my God. See that? See that? Knocked my fucking headphones off. That's how many fucking people are about to fucking be there. Knocked my fucking headphones off. The ghosts from the future went, nope. So yeah, be at that show. It's once in a lifetime. For me, and trust me, I've seen Lamb of God. I've seen Slipknot this year. This show is my most anticipated, hands down by far. So everybody be sure to be at the Diesel Concert Lounge on Halloween night. But without further ado, everyone, Crypt Crow! Welcome our new brother, all the way from fucking Colorado. All right. Chance, bassist and backing vocals from the one, the only, Colorado's own, Bound by Motherfucking Years. Check them out. Links in the description below. We love you all to death. Enjoy. Blah. Go. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today, we welcome Chance, the bass player and backing vocalist for Colorado's own Bound by Years. How you doing? Welcome to the show, buddy.
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Thanks for having us, man. Or me. I'm so used to the rest of them being here with me.
Fair enough. It's a real honor. I really got into you guys. Keith Wamper from the Convalescence and Legend Recording Agency turned me on to you guys, and I have been really, really into your band ever since. So real quick, off the top, is there anything that you want to plug for Bound by Years coming up in the near future? Any shows, any dates, any releases?
There's a lot of stuff that I'd really like to plug, but I'm kind of still under a classified wrap of a lot of it now. So,
that's totally fine. I'm not going to ask you to spoil anything. So.
Yeah, literally the only things we have coming up that are publicized right now are just our last 3 shows of the year. We're actually 2 of them are with Hemlock.
Oh yes, yes, that's right.
Yeah, we'll be at in Greeley at the Moxie Theater with them on the 4th of November, and then we'll be at the Mesa Theater in Grand Junction, Colorado with Hemlock again on the 5th. And then we're headlining our last show of the year at the Wild Goose Saloon in Parker, Colorado on Sunday the 7th, and that'll be the last show for the year.
Beautiful, beautiful. Links to all those will be in the description below for everybody. For anybody in those areas that wants to go see a sick show, go check it out. Definitely. So this is your first time on. I always like to get started by asking people, like, what are your kind of like personal origins into playing music in general, and especially because 99% of the world thinks the music that you and I love, we're crazy for it. So like, what's your personal music origins and heavy metal background?
That's a loaded question. No, I mean, when I first started playing bass at, I think, 14 years old, like 22, 23 years ago now. I was definitely into metal, but definitely not the metal I'm into now. I mean, I'm just like almost everybody else. I got brought into metal through Metallica in middle school. And, by the time I got into high school, then I had been introduced to what is still, one of my favorite band, Mudvayne. And Ryan Martini, the bass player for Mudvayne's my hero. He's my idol.
Awesome.
I just never thought I'd be one of the like older dad guys that are saying that now. But yeah, actually from learning in a bass and starting in metal bands like that, I've actually ventured all over the place, man. I've played in reggae bands, I've played in country bands, I've played in all sorts of things. So I listen to a whole lot of different things and have a lot of different inspirations and stuff that started me playing bass, the way that I write, the way that we do stuff, or that I do stuff in Bound by Years. And that's kind of the awesome part. It's everybody in this band is kind of like that.
That's really cool. It's to have that much of an eclectic background with everybody coming together to make metal. To me, it always makes the metal sound better. Like having those different kind of influences and backgrounds and stuff comes
Absolutely.
through,
I mean, and I moved to Colorado over 10 years ago, but I was born and raised in Southern California, to the point that actually the first 5 concerts I went to in my life were the Beach Boys.
No way. That's wild. So now so you said you were born and raised in Southern California. I know your lead vocalist Chase is originally from Texas.
Yes, he actually still lives there. He
Okay.
moved to Colorado and joined the band, and then when the pandemic got really bad in 2020, he actually be closer to family and with his significant other and stuff like that. It was a better option for him to live in Texas. So he's actually been living over there again for a year. But yeah, he travels back and forth to Colorado constantly, playing shows, writing, to do the music video. He flew out for a couple weeks to record the album last year. He's kind of a jet set singer now.
Yeah. And you guys did have your correct me if I'm wrong, your first full length album came out in December 2020. What
Yep.
Fate May Bring, correct?
Yeah.
And you guys have had you did the Worth It video, which is the thing that I reacted to, and
Yep.
is the Worth It video the most recent thing you guys have put out?
The music video, shortly after that, there was a PR kind of video that was released by the same guy, by Kyle Lamar from Digital Mile, did that for us too. That kind of has
he filmed the
live
video and that?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's the same guy.
Oh, that's cool. That's
that's Kyle from Digital Mile out here, who's just amazing guy to work with. Like, we love him to death.
So who is anybody in the band originally from Colorado then? Or are you guys okay?
Dennis, our drummer, and Sean, one of our guitar players, they're both Colorado natives, as they put it.
Hell yeah, fantastic. Now, sorry. I have to ask you about this because I love it when it's not a common thing very much anymore, sadly, but I love it when bands, especially metal bands, use samples. And you guys have a sample on the track Demons.
Yeah.
That Cheech and Chong that when I first heard it, I was like, no way, this is amazing. Like, what inspired you to throw that in there?
Unfortunately, I couldn't give you the answer for that because actually, Sean Gonzalez, one of our guitar players, he actually started the kind of backbones and a whole good majority of that song musically wise.
Okay.
And when he brought it to us, he actually had already put the soundbite on there. So, and it just, obviously it works. It's awesome, or we're like, there's no getting rid of that.
No.
So when we recorded the song as a band, it stayed on there.
Fantastic. And that is so awesome. Like, I was going through the album and that got to that one. I was like, yes, like this is, I loved it. I love it when bands use those kind of like samples and stuff like that. One big one, obviously Children of Bodom used to use a lot of really great samples on their tracks and stuff like that. Yeah. So I love that.
Dennis and I, the drummer, he was actually the guitar player and singer, and I was the bass player for a grindcore band called Whore Grinder out here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And every single song on the 10 track album that they did all have samples before every single song.
That's sick. I love it. I do always, because I'm kind of a nerd for this stuff, especially in the past year or so. I've gotten I've been playing guitar for a little bit more than 10 years, but I've gotten really back into it and gear and stuff like that. So I'm curious, do you have a favorite bass, like a favorite line of them or anything like that, or just pedals or anything that you like to use?
Well, no, and actually every time I watch rig rundowns and stuff for the big boys, it's like they all have 18 of the same exact bass, just in different colors. And I'm like, God, that's boring. I'm like, I'm the guy that literally, you look at the stuff that I take on the road. I've got an Ibanez, I have a Washburn, I have a Cort. I was in a band in 2005 that was endorsed by Cort. So I actually have a Cort Action 4 that I still play this day. I'm in love with it.
Oh, wow.
And then, I can actually sneak down here. It's, because I had a guy that was he paints hot rods and won awards for painting motorcycles, and he actually painted one of my Washburns. It has a custom job on it.
Ooh, yeah, Washburn's great too. They're a great brand.
Yeah, sorry, we're going to the man room.
You're good.
So yeah, this is. See if I can get that for you.
Oh my God. Oh, that's gorgeous. That almost gives me oh, the skulls are sick. I didn't even see the skulls. And oh wow, dude. Yeah, that color combination almost gives me a feel from the the blue lightning Razorback dime bag.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, that was actually, I mean, the only thing that's left of the original of it is the wood on it, because that was actually the first bass I ever bought when I was 14.
Wow.
But now all the electronics are redone, the pickups and everything, because we were blessed enough to get our endorsed by EMG, so
Yes.
everything we have has EMGs in it. So that has EMG pickups in it, electronics. Like I said, the paint job, when the guy did it for me, he actually gave me the write up for it and everything, so I could submit it to the insurance company, because the paint job on it alone is worth $3,000.
Woo! Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. That's fantastic. And I'm a giant EMG fan.
And
I
this
think
is
that's the best.
that chord I was talking about.
Oh, gorgeous, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, and I've had that one since 2004. That's in Chord Action 4. And then this one is another kind of Frankenstein one that is actually my biggest one that I use on tour most. Is it doesn't really have a name. There's no thing on it. My buddy's brother left it in his basement, and it was just sitting down there. It actually used to be gold and kind of looked like a disco era bass. Don't know who made it. Don't know anything, but I put EMGs and electronics in that and repainted the whole thing myself, and it's actually one of my favorite basses to play.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Do you prefer 4-string, 5-string, 6-string?
4. I have one 5-string. She's actually right here. It's an Ibanez. Yeah, this is my.
Oh, gorgeous. Oh my God. Very nice.
Yeah, I kind of got some stuff going on over here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my only 5-string though. I dabbled with 5s a couple here and there and Bound by Ears when we first started, but just 4s are, it's more comfortable for me, it really is. And Johnny, one of our guitar players, he's started to work with stuff on 7-strings guitars and whatnot, but we haven't really got enough into that where it's going to be any kind of requirement for me to have that kind of depth, that kind of deep ass tuning.
Sure, absolutely. Well, thank you for sure. That's awesome. I love that stuff. Now Bound by Ears was founded in 2014, correct?
Yes.
But you have played in many bands before that, right?
Bound by Ears is the 16th band I've played in my life.
Okay. So yeah, I didn't even know that many. Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever made it up have you ever made it up here to play in Michigan by any chance?
No. We were pretty damn close on the last tour, but we haven't been to Michigan.
You guys were real close on that tour, yeah. But
I will, without dropping too much, tell you that that's a good possibility in that classified stuff I was talking about.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Hell yeah. Well, if you guys ever do make it up here, I will never miss a Bound by Ears show. That's 100% sure.
I appreciate how
definitely. Now, you've never made it up to Michigan, but you have toured pretty extensively, as far as I can tell. Do you have a favorite, like a tour story or band that you opened for that just blew you away or anything like that?
I mean, the last tour we did, we've done a lot of like Weekend Warrior stuff, and the last one we did before, or the biggest one we did before the last one was, I think, in like 2019, I guess. Like we went to California and did that area in Vegas and stuff like that. But when we were gone on this last Midwest tour, that was definitely the biggest thing we've done so far. And there's going to be a lot more coming up. But yeah, that was by far. And I learned very quickly in just the course of 2 weeks that you get a lot of stories real quick.
Hell yeah. And I mean, didn't you guys open up too for like Soulfly earlier this year?
Yeah, the 21st of August. Yeah, we played at the Marquee Theater. We found out about 2 hours we went on that it went sold out.
Oh.
Yeah, we played to a sold out crowd. My singer actually had a video clip that he posted on his Facebook, and it's just, he went up on stage and walked out there by himself first and ran his cell phone in front of the crowd and everything, and you just see how packed the house is. It was awesome.
Oh, that's sick, dude. That's sick. I am a massive Soulfly fan. I got to see them a couple years ago for the first time, and they blew me away. Yeah, really awesome. That's great.
That was the second time we played with them. We played with them, I think, maybe 2-3 years ago. We played with them at a place called Herman's Hideaway out here, and that was with them and Nile, actually. And,
shit.
Yeah, and they actually had to put extensions on the stage to make it bigger because, I mean, anybody who knows Nile's drum kit.
Yeah.
And they already had Soulfly stuff up there, and then Nile's and everything, so they had to have extensions, and they were running behind on sound checks. And I just remember the door guy coming in. We're up there trying to finish our sound check. He's like, "You guys, sound check needs to wrap up. I got a line 3 blocks down the road." And I'm like, "Oh man, this is gonna be cool."
That's fantastic, man. Hell yeah. All right. There is one. So we don't have too much time left, but there is something I do want to get into because we are what 6 days away from Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 days. This will come out before Halloween, but probably towards the end of the week. But I gotta ask, do you have any? Are there any particular, like, everybody always asks about like horror movies, and I will ask you about your favorite horror movies, but do you have any like favorite like metal is associated with horror in so many ways? Do you have any favorite metal songs that you like to listen to at this time of year? For me, one I like to go to is the Cradle of Filth, a cover of the Iron Maiden track "Hallowed Be Thy Name." I think that like first 30-second minute long chunk is fucking spine chilling. Like, it's absolutely like creepy as fuck. So I was wondering, do you have any go-to metal songs at this time?
That question always makes me think of the Freddy versus Jason soundtrack.
Oh,
because it was one of the most killer metal horror movie soundtracks. I mean, that had Killswitch Engage. God, I don't even remember all the bands that were on that. Oh, you know what? Sorry, now you got me started. I'm going back to the man room because I'm getting this track.
You're good. That is the first time anybody's ever put. That is a good one. That is a good pull. I've asked a few people this.
I have that right here, and I'm like, it has some of the most killer metal bands on it. Yeah, what are we looking at here? El Nino, Killswitch Engage, Spineshank, Mushroomhead, Hatebreed, Slipknot, Chimera, From Autumn to Ashes, Seven Dust, Power Man, Murder Dolls, Seether, Stone Sour, Devil Driver, Sepultura, The Blank Theory, Nothing Face, and Flames, Lamb of God, and Typo Negative. Tell me that's not a metal horror movie soundtrack.
That's a Mayhem Fest lineup. Like that.
Exactly. That's what I said. You want metal and horror movies? Freddy versus Jason soundtrack.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. That's fantastic. No, yeah, that's a good one. Wow. I guess I didn't realize
that would always get me for Halloween,
Yeah, absolutely. What about what do you have any I mean, and a lot of people ask this, I know, but like genuinely, this year started like at the beginning of October. Like, I don't know what it was. Like, I realized that I had never really seen all of the Rob Zombie movies. I'd seen like the Halloween ones, but that was about it. And I was like, fuck, I'm a giant metalhead. I love Rob Zombie. I should probably watch these. And that watching those really reignited like a passion for the whole horror genre in general for me. So like, what are your favorite like kind of go-tos this time of year?
See, I was going to say too, while you're saying that, I haven't seen a whole lot of the newer remake stuff of the horror movies and everything. I'm absolutely certain that like Johnny and Dennis have, they're huge into horror movies. I think I kind of stopped paying attention to horror movies after, I don't know, the early 2000s, which is kind of when I stopped watching any newer movies anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but my wife and I absolutely love all the old Halloweens, especially the original. And we just did watch the new Halloween that just came out.
Halloween Kills?
Yeah, Halloween Kills.
What'd you think?
I thought it was really cool. And I actually, when I saw the beginning of it, and like, I'm sure you've heard that there's like a petition going around to get rid of the firefighter scene.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, when I was watching it, I'm like, damn, that's rough. Because my dad was a fire captain and my brother is a fireman. And I'm like, damn, that's rough. But when I saw the petition, I'm like, really?
Yeah. like
you got way too much time on your hands.
Exactly. Like,
I wish my life was so uncomplicated that was the stuff that I got to worry about.
Thank you. Yes, that's exactly what that is. Like, there's a petition about that, but not the new Cannibal Corpse cover. Like, are you serious? Like,
Yeah.
Come on.
And it's just, let me go turn on MTV for 3 or 4 hours and let's see how many things I see on there that I'd want to complain about and have removed.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a very good. Yeah, that's a very good point. Metalheads have never really been to like that, like, I don't know, that like stupid level of cancel culture of stuff like that. Like nothing phases us. Like,
yes. And everybody hear that again. This is coming from me. My father was a fire department captain. My brother is a fireman. It doesn't matter. It's a movie.
Yeah, it's fake. They played pretend on screen. That's all they did.
Yeah, you don't like it, don't watch it.
Exactly. Exactly. I thought it was pretty good though. I thought it was all right. The only problem I had with that movie was like they tried to do that thing of like showing how. Have you ever seen The Mist?
No, but
Okay.
I definitely know the basis of it.
Well, it's like in that movie, I felt like they did a really good job at showing like that whole group think thing of like everyone chasing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And in Halloween Kills, like they spend half the movie chasing the wrong guy, and I'm just like, get to the part where you go after Michael. You know what I mean? Like that was the only downside about that for me, because that part didn't really land. But I thought it was good, and I look forward to the next one.
Yeah, and I mean, and as far as actual favorites go, unfortunately, and I know how much crap I catch for it. I'm really about the corny but real possibility ones are the ones that are always my favorite. So like I always love the first Scream because I'm like, when you watch it, even though it's not nearly as like brutal and like dark as most horror movies and everything, but it's like that is a real possibility of that happening. Shooting this guy 27 times while he's following you, and somehow you run as fast as you can, getting whatever you can, and he's always right there. Not reality, but I'm like, these two guys freaking out and actually doing that's a real possibility. That's why I think what is it, The Strangers, that was roughly based off of a real thing. That was scary as hell.
That's a good one. That ground level stuff, much like Rob Zombie movies, if you've ever seen any of them, it's all very like you watch it, you're like, this could actually happen. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of
and
like,
I think it's not definitely necessarily as crazy of the killings and stuff they get that make it scarier for me. It's always when I'm like, damn, that could actually happen.
yes, exactly. All right. I got one more question for you then.
You're good, man. I can push it a little bit further.
All right. Cool. Well, this is usually I like to ask everybody this, whether it's Halloween time or not. Ever since I started this podcast, every new guest I have on, because this is like a side, like I love heavy metal. It's my biggest passion, but the other one would be the world of, the paranormal, the strange. So I always like to ask everyone, have you ever had an experience in your life that you would describe as paranormal? And I'm not just talking about ghosts. I'm talking UFOs and cryptids and local legends and anything like that at all.
That's absolutely hilarious. And I'm truly bummed that my band members are not sitting next to me right now, because they would all be cracking up. So they make fun of me of this on a constant basis. They give me crap. And Dennis and Johnny are avid ghost hunters. I mean, like, really, not joking. They love ghosts and they try and track them down.
Yep, me too.
I apparently have constantly, for a good majority of my life, been kind of hunted by them. And they've witnessed it happen to me. We actually, before we were able to move out into a better rehearsal space, we practiced in a place that we called the litter box. And the place literally had, no air conditioning, no heat. The power was so bad there that our little AC unit in the wall, we had to turn off that during the summer and then play 3 songs and then open all the doors and turn back on the AC so we didn't blow the power. But you'd only be able to play like 3 songs before the place turned into an oven with 5 guys in it.
Right.
But this place apparently used to be a mortuary.
Oh,
and
shit.
And everybody had always told me that it was haunted and everything like that. It was literally standing there talking about something song wise. I saw something out of the corner of my eye in the hallway. Dennis is behind his drums. He looks at me. He's like, "You saw something too, huh?" And right before I could answer, I instantly felt like something grabbed me, like on the inside of my stomach, and I, right in front of all those guys, turned pale, and I just couldn't talk. Our old guitar player literally pulled me out of there and had to get me. As soon as I got out the door, I started throwing up. And then he had to get me all the way across the parking lot from the building before whatever it was let go.
Oh my God.
And it literally happened in front of the band members. So like I said, these guys know that for some reason they always come after me. Like I don't ask for it, and every time anybody brings up ghost stuff, I'm just like, I don't want to go there. I'm not going into that place. Not happening. And you know, they always make fun of it. And they were even saying, because like we have that track Ghosts and Thieves, and you know, they're like, oh, sometime we should do like a Ghosts and Thieves tour and do all these haunted places. And I'm like, hell no.
That would be.
I'm not gonna come back alive. Yeah, but I have a video of it somewhere. I kept it on my computer. At my old job, I was downstairs in a really, really old Catholic church, and I have video of it. That I always get that feeling before stuff like that happens. It gets really cold, you know, I get really, you know, nervous. I know what's about to happen. I took out my phone and started doing it. And the piano that was downstairs in the Catholic church, the piano was playing and there was nobody sitting there. And then I ran outside. I instantly called Dennis because I knew he would want to hear about it. He's like, dude, you got to go back down there. And I'm like, well, I got to go back down there to get my tools, but I'm coming right back out. He's like, keep your camera on, man. And I'm like, okay. I go back down the basement stairs to go collect my tools from all over the place. They were all at the bottom of the stairs lined up.
Oh God. Yep. I have goosebumps right now. Actually,
like I said, it happens to me constantly. I went into the old whatever it is, Padres office or whatever, and where I was going into the attics and stuff, or the basement like crawl space. I had my ladder there. Went and was folding up my ladder to get out of that office, and just right when that was happening, I got this instant feeling that something was telling me to get the hell out of there. Like, you know, I don't want you here. And as I was like jogging out the office door, I had my camera on still. I instantly hit the floor. Something freaking forcefully pushed me from behind and knocked me down. Yeah, it was horrible. I was showing it to Dennis, and you know, he's seen the video and everything, and they said they love it. You know, it's just, you know, it's like, you know,
well,
archaeologists finding a new find. You know, I'm just like, they love it, and I'm like, you guys are sick.
No, I kind of get where they're coming from. Because for people, I mean, for people, I assume me and them, because that's something I do. I pay money to get locked in places overnight to hunt for this shit, and I do it because I'm still looking for. It's because I want to believe. You know, it's not like I'm still searching for that thing to happen to me where I'm like, oh, finally I saw something or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, I can tell you right now, I don't need any more convincing.
Right. Exactly. So for whenever someone like me hears stories like yours, I'm like, oh, that's what I'm looking for. Like,
see, you have the exact same reaction like Dennis and Johnny. They get just so excited about it. I'm like, why can't this be happening to you? You think it'd be a blast.
Right. Exactly. No, that actually gave me extra chills, because one of the craziest experiences I ever had, and it's not even that crazy, but there's like a thing called, you know what the ovulus is?
Mm-mm.
It's like it's a tool for ghost hunting. It's basically a screen with a gigantic word bank inside of it, and it puts out an EMF field. So the idea is that spirits would be able to manipulate it and pick a word and put it up on the screen if you ask questions. It's like real-time communication. And there was this one investigation I was on where we were on the upstairs floor of this like museum place, and I was alone way over on the other side of the room from everyone else. And there was a handful of other people on the other side. One of them had an ovulus, and it's a museum, but they just had like, it was kind of like, nothing was behind glass. It was all just like ropes, you know? And there was this piano, and I am like, probably my favorite movie of all time is Ghostbusters. So I'm in a haunted place. I see a piano. I'm going to do the Peter Venkman thing that he does when he walks into Dana Barrett's apartment. And so I open up this piano and I kind of do that, but there was no sound. And there's like the piano was broken. And I hear something come through the ovulus on the other side of the room, way far away from me. And I was like, what did that thing just say? And they were like, it said broken. Right as I was touching the broken piano. And to this day, that one creeps me out.
No, and like I said, I know that when Dennis and Johnny are watching this interview later, they're gonna be like, "Dude, how do you not know what that is?"
Yeah, they're gonna lose their minds. If they do see this, you guys are welcome on to talk anything ghost whenever you want.
I guarantee you, they're gonna take you up on that.
Hell yeah, Hell yeah. How much more time you got?
You're good, man. You're good.
I'm good?
I was sending a text while you were there trying to push the time. So
Fantastic. All right. Then I did want to ask one thing, going back a little bit. Worth it. It's not the only live music video you've ever done for Bound by Years. I've seen a few more, but it's definitely the most recent. How was it filming that?
that was the actual first professional music video.
Okay.
Yeah, because the other one we had was for a track called Hopeless, which was off the Into the Nature of Things.
Yes, EP.
Yeah, that was off that. And actually, that was my run at it. We had our old guitar player. There was a few of us. There was like mine and two other cell phones, and we were kind of recorded that whole thing off of 3 cell phones.
What?
And then I bought a editing tool, video editing program, and I actually spent about 90 hours turning cell phone videos into the music video.
I can't. That absolutely blows my mind, because when I remember the first time I saw it, and I thought 100% that it was professionally done. So that's
you're talking about like the one that starts all black and white.
Yeah.
That's for Hopeless. Yeah, that was all done on cell phones.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I kind of, it sucked because I had to learn as I went. I'm sure it would have taken a lot less time to edit, but I literally had never done anything like that before. So I learned as I went, and took forever. And then also found out about baud rates and stuff like that way into the project. So then I had to go back and start all over because nothing would line up to the track. So that made me had to start all over. So that added a good like 20 hours onto it.
Yeah.
That was 2 or 3 cell phones and a shitload of free time.
Well done. That was I thought it turned out really. I was watching. I was like, wow, this is really good. There's no way in hell I would have ever guessed that was done on a cell phone. Absolutely.
Hey, I appreciate it. But then we go and work with Kyle in Digital Mile and get to see what a real music video looks like.
and so from well, one question real quick. What year was the first one done again?
That would have been 2018.
Okay. So, all right, fair enough. Now, so from going to that to working with the professional Kyle, how was that experience?
It's even when we're super small as we are now, still, when you get to work there and he has his crew there and everything, like you definitely feel like a rock star. It's just with Chase, when Chase was doing his things, riding the skateboard and everything, like they had him in the back, the back of the vehicle that's driving in front of him with the hazards on, dude blocking off the street, everything like that, while Chase is skating behind him. They got the camera hanging out the car. I'm like, this is so cool.
That's awesome. I'm glad you guys had a great experience with that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and we where a huge amount of that is the kind of rundown house thing that was out in the middle of nowhere, and by the end of that, man, I have some behind the scenes video stuff that I'm going to put out eventually here, but we did probably like 30, 40 takes of the first half of the song, and they're just running it over and over again. And, Chase, you can see him, he's in like a jacket, one of us in a hoodie, stuff like that. So like, the thing I have after they get the last set, oh man, just Johnny's like, eye makeup stuff's just running down his face. We all look at each other. We just all look like lobsters. It's just, we were destroyed. And that was actually after we had already, we all got cut easy on that one, but Chase had already done a bunch of scenes, all the acting parts and riding the skateboard before we were even out at the rundown house. And then after the rundown house, we went back to where that warehouse where all the green and blue lights are.
Yeah.
We did that. I don't even think we started filming that until like 11 or midnight that night.
So wait, the whole thing was shot in a day?
Mm-hmm. In about, I think, 18 hours or so.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was, I think 6 or 7 locations in 18 hours, man. We were hauling ass.
Wow. That's impressive.
There was another behind the scenes shot of it. It's like Johnny and I had I'm like, I think it's about, like, you just tell, man, I'm just wiped out. I don't even know what time it is anymore. I'm like, they're setting up lights in that warehouse room. We're going to be filming at some point here. I'm like, it's been a long day. And just Johnny walks by. He's like, long fucking day.
Yeah, no, and I did see that PR video that Chase put out, where he did talk about that. He was like, that whole day I was in a 3-piece suit, sweating my ass off. Like,
yes, and man, it was hilarious when he got there. He was in his normal clothes, and before they started shooting, he goes over to the car and changes. When he walked away from the car, and I saw him in that suit for the first time, I lost him, man. I'm like, oh, that's perfect.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You all did a killer job on that vid. And honestly, like, oh shit, I think it's that. Yes, it is that song, Worth It. There's a moment in it where it like slows down, and you get that great bass line. Dude, I love, like, I love that stuff. I feel like it was way more prevalent in like early 2000 stuff, and we just don't hear enough of it anymore. And I thought that section of that track was fantastic. You did a great job.
Yeah, and it also is, it's super necessary to do that when you have somebody that can sing like Chase, you know, to be able to drop down all the everything and make it go clean and just have it really where there's just barely anything there except for Chase's vocals, because he's, you know, it's always nice to showcase the sweeter side of Chase.
I mean, and that's a very good point though. There are so few bands where that, in my opinion at least, and I've gotten a lot more into it since I started the podcast, and way more into bands like this, but to me, there are not that many bands out there that can do the singing and the screaming that can make it match so well. So many bands are like, we're going to be hard as fuck. And then when the dude starts singing, we're going to slow everything down and make everything sweet and quiet and lose all the hard. Yeah. And that, I just never gravitated towards that. But you guys, in Chase's vocal performance, he's just he has a lot of talent. He's really good. Like,
yeah. Got a great voice. It seems like after the fact, you know, it seems like when they started to run out of people that could sing and scream, that's when all the bands started to come out that now had two vocalists. They have a singer and a screamer. You know, it's like they ran out of people that could do it both. So now they're going to start bands that have one that does one and one that does the other. You know, it's like, seems like I Prevail and We Came as Romans came out at like exactly the same time doing the exact same thing, you know?
Right. But, you know, that is kind of the world of heavy metal, though, isn't it? One thing happens and then everybody copies 100%.
It. 100%. Yeah. You know, it's all, and then you're always going to get the wars of who came up with it first and who was doing it first. And nobody will ever answer that question truthfully.
Nope. But now I feel like we're getting to a point where it's evolved to where we have bands like you guys where every member has such a vastly different and eclectic set of influences. And they're now bringing all those different sounds into metal for the first time in the last 5 or so years. I think we're, you know, it's this weird thing where recently, probably since like 2000 or so, everything started to break apart in faction in hundreds of different subgenres, you know, deathcore, grind, sludge, glam, you know, all this stuff. But now it's almost like those walls are starting to break down. Now, you know, where I don't even know how to I have no idea how to categorize you guys, Lorna Shore, you know, Black Dahlia Murder even anymore. Like, it's, everybody has so many different sounds going on at the same time, and it's just nothing but exciting for me.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot, that, you know, where we've gotten into it, you know, it's like, what do we label ourselves as, you know, as far as this and this goes? Because, you know, every time we're doing something as far as, you know, marketing goes or anything, or, you know, our distribution or anything like that, every single distribution company and platform labels us as something else.
Right.
You know, it's like, you know, 9 times out of 10, they're labeling us as metalcore, because I think that's just the easiest way to go. You know, it's just like, oh, these guys sound like Killswitch Engage sometimes, so they got to be metalcore.
and don't, like, if see that, and that's what I do on the podcast. Whenever like I do like a reflection or a reaction to something, and I use other bands to describe the sound, it's like I specifically make it clear every time that it's never to like pigeonhole anything at all. It's always like, I'm just using these other bands as an adjective to describe the closest thing that I'm hearing right now. And that's exciting to me, that like I can't think of a subgenre to put anybody into. It's almost like there's a I like that.
Awesome. And not to say that we haven't done that to ourselves quite a few times. I mean, there was a good like year and a half there where we actually while we were playing our cycle of shows there, we were covering End of Heartache for a good year and a half. So we did it to ourselves. And then especially since Chase sounds like Howard a lot of the time, it's like that was really easy for us to do End of Heartache. And actually his tryout for the band, when he came into the band, he tried out by doing their rendition of Holy Diver.
No way.
Yeah. And he was when we were looking at each other when he was doing it, and he was nailing the screaming and the singing, and it just sounded identical. We're like trying to like look like that we're not we're not that impressed, but the whole time we're like
we got one.
Yeah. We're like, dude, sign it, do it.
That's awesome. Wow. No, I love that cover. That's one of my favorite covers of all time. Hell yeah. No, that is true. That is, I mean, you guys don't sound like Killswitch Engaged, but if I had to describe your sound to someone that had never heard you before, I'd probably like kind of Killswitch Engaged. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of a thing.
Well, that's how I do it myself. I tell people that they're like, "Oh, what do you sound like?" Because it's just the easiest way to go, and I've always got to pick it for that people know.
Right, right,
exactly. It's because there are all those people that know every band from every genre, and I could narrow it down a little further or whatever. But 9 times out of 10, I can't. But it's exactly like you said. There's so many genres. It's always funny to me if you look at the Craigslist, for like ads for looking for musicians. It's like, we're a 3-piece trying to start a band looking for a guitar player. We're a pirate folk slayer grind thing. And I was just like, wait, what?
Pirate folk. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, and there's pirate metal and folk metal and all that. And I literally, one of those times I did see it was a pirate folk something grindcore thing. Yeah, and I'm just like, wow, that's intense.
That's hilarious. I'm
like, you're really narrowing it down.
Yeah, you're getting real specific. That reminds me of like, I think, didn't you guys play earlier this year with Kill the Imposter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was actually one of the first times when we played with other bands that that I've actually gone fanboy. I had been listening to them for a couple of months to find out who they were and everything, and I just kind of fell in love with their music. So I was really pumped when we got to Ohio and got to play with them.
They're so good. Johnny's a good friend, and I got to see them live for the first time in August or September. They blew me away. I absolutely love them. But the last time I got to talk to Johnny, he told me about a band that they had to open or play with. I can't remember if it was opening or not. Play with down there in Florida. That was like a reggae metal band, and we were like, he was like, "What the hell are we doing on this bill? Like, how do I even promote this?" Like,
right? What would that be? Wouldn't Skindred kind of be up that alley?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Skindred. Yeah, I love Skindred. Yeah. They were
they were really cool. I remember them when I was in high school. We were listening to them.
Same.
Yeah, that was fun stuff to watch.
Yeah, nobody gets out alive. That's a great
song. It's like, wow, people beating the hell out of each other during the choruses and then smoking joints and hugging each other during the verses. It's awesome.
Yes. Exactly. That's exactly what that kind of show, what I would imagine that kind of show to be. At least I've never had the opportunity to see them live, sadly.
I saw them once, and they were, like I said, it was definitely something that I gravitated to because I've been in 2 different reggae bands,
right?
And I've been in metal bands, so it was kind of like I got to see 2 sides of my personality put together.
What that's interesting because you did play in reggae bands. And reggae, at least the reggae that I have heard, is so much more bass oriented than almost any other form of music. Is that what drew you to it?
Absolutely. And then that was the first group that I played with, Dennis, our drummer, and he came in after the fact to fill in for some shows. I was in a band called the West Coastless Crew, and I was actually their singer and their guitar player, one of the guitar players for it. It's the only band I've ever played in that I wasn't the bass player.
Oh wow.
And that was a like a reggae rock hip hop thing, you know, and yeah, and funnily enough, like a lot of the guys that eventually were in Bound by Years were started in West Coastless crew. You know, that's where it came from. And towards the end there, West Coastless songs started to get metal and metal and metal and more metal. And then we're like, all right, why are we even having another band here? Because we're all just getting out of this to go to Bound by Years practice. So we might as well just get rid of this band and make one thing here.
Hell yeah. So,
but yeah, the bass is I always loved it. But the bands I was in reggae wise, I mean, I know a lot of real reggae people get mad at me for even calling it that, because it's more the white boy reggae kind of thing. We were more like Sublime, slightly stupid, that kind of thing, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, like I said, you know, they coined it for a while there in the late '90s and early 2000s. They were calling it Amera reggae, you know.
Oh, okay.
Because it wasn't PC to call it white boy reggae.
Fair enough. But so, okay, so like, then Bound by Years was sort of born out of that previous band?
I wouldn't say born out of it, but we definitely, I mean, when the guy that I started the band with in the beginning, you know, was a guy that I had known for a long time. And when we started writing the first initial songs for the band, you know, he was saying like, we should get a drummer or whatever. I'm like, well, let me talk to Dennis, the guy that I play in West Coastless with. Let's do this, you know. So that's, you know, Dennis was playing in West Coastless with me. And then that guy that I started the band with, he was in the West Coastless crew too. And the original singer for Bound by Years was actually the lead guitar player for West Coastless.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So actually it would have been our second show as Bound by Years. We were actually on a tour out to California doing West Coastless shows. We had a day off and we ended up playing a Bound by Years show just as a spin-off. And it was all the same band members, but we switched places, you know. It's like I moved from lead vocals and guitar back to bass, and the bass player moved to guitar, and the guitar player moved to singer, and you know, and we ended up playing our second show ever as Bound by Years in California.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the band has always had a very versatile, you know, musicians in it. You know, Dennis plays guitar and drums. Johnny plays everything. You know, Chase is actually, he has his hands in Johnny and Sean guitar writing a lot of the time. He's always throwing ideas to them because Chase is actually an incredible guitar player.
Wow.
You know, so, yeah, everybody kind of plays. You know, I wouldn't even call myself a guitar player anymore, but you know, I did play in West Coast as a guitar player for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. So, you know, I play a little too, but yeah, everybody kind of does a little bit of everything, which makes it very cool when we're writing, because everybody can kind of have an idea, you know, and show each other what they're saying instead of, you know, trying to do the mouth thing, you know. It's like, no, ding, 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 you know that?
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, exactly. That has to have a massive impact on the writing process, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Chase is cool enough that my biggest passion in writing is in lyrics. You know, I knew you were. I was going to ask you about that. I know you're back in vocals. I was curious how much of the lyrics you did, of the lyric writing you did. So I was the lyric writer for Insight, Safe with Death, Ghost and Thieves, and I wrote a little bit of Hesitant.
Awesome.
Yeah, which that was, you know, that's awesome. Another thing of how we work is I started writing the lyrics for Hesitant. I kind of came up with a chorus and a little bit of a verse. And I came and I remember taking Chase out in the hallway at our studio and showing him how I thought I was hearing it to be sung on the chorus. And I'm not a singer like him, so I knew it was going to sound awful. But I sang it to him out there, and he's like, oh, yeah, I get it. And goes inside and sings it exactly how I was hearing it in his head, or in my head. And then he took what I had done with the chorus and a little scrap of something else, and then he went up with it and just wrote the rest of it. We always tell people especially lyric wise, we think a lot alike. So we finish each other's sentences a lot when it comes to lyric writing.
That's what was it like the first time you had that experience where you were able to take to talk to Chase and then have him do it the way it was in your head? Like what? That's gotta be amazing.
I think Hesitant was the first time where I actually had a specific way that I was hearing something in my head that I thought that not only this is what I think it should say, but this is how I think it should be sung.
Okay.
When he walked in there and it was just, you know, he took the probably horrible impersonation of what I was hearing in my head that I was trying to convey to him, and went in there and just belted it out exactly how I'm like, yes, that's new. How I knew Chase was going to sing it. Like, yeah, that was awesome. I'm like, it's so much easier when you can tell somebody what you're thinking and they just get it right off the bat.
Yes. That's fucking awesome. I love that you guys. I love to know that you guys have that kind of chemistry. That gives a different perspective. Now, like when I go back and listen to the music, it's going to give me a different perspective, knowing that that's like a factor with you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
I mean, he hit me with that one. Crap, right before we left on this last tour, I do a lot more stuff vocally on stage than I even do on the album, you know, because there's a lot of stuff that gets layered, you know, on albums and stuff like that. So I've got to do a lot of stuff that he layered in the studio. And right before he left, the last screams on the verses for Redemption, he now has me do. And it scared the hell out of me when he told me I was going to be doing that, because, you know, he hangs out those, you know, where he says, you know, strength is the heart in all of you, you know, and you got to do that. Yeah. Like hanging it out. And I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for that. Yeah, but he's, you know, he's like, you got this. So I'm just like, all right. So yeah, it took about two shows into the tour before I'm like, all right, I get it. I'm like, deep breath and let it go.
Yeah. Fantastic. What has it been like as a performer coming back and playing shows again post-pandemic?
I mean, I'm sure it means a lot to, and how important it is to everybody in Bound, but it's probably the most to me. I mean, we've talked about this with other people on other interviews, that almost all the guys in the band, they absolutely love being in the recording studio. I hate it. It's a nightmare for me. It really is. Like, playing live, the more people, the less nervous I am. Like, I love being on stage. I grew up on stage. I was actually a professional juggler, you know, growing up. I worked at Renaissance fairs.
No way.
I used to tour Renaissance fairs for, you know, all through middle school and half of high school.
Did you ever come to the one in Michigan?
No, I didn't, but I actually opened for the Dropkick Murphys as a juggler in Vegas once.
Oh shit, that's fucking wild, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah, but so I grew up on stage, and that's my happy place, you know. And it's so when the pandemic happened, and one of the biggest shows we were ever offered was we were going to be one of the opening acts at Summit Music Hall out here for one of the bigger name regional bands out here, and they personally invited us to come open for them. Our show got canceled 6 hours before we walked on stage.
Oh.
We had gotten told that they're like, the biggest thing that you could do right now and that you guys need to do to get yourself, you know, where you want to be, is get yourself in front of KBPI, which is the big metal station out here. Get yourself in front of Live Nation. That show was being put on by Live Nation at Summit Music Hall, and KBPI was sponsoring it. So literally everybody we needed to be in front of, all in the same spot, and got canceled 6 hours beforehand. And luckily, on a side note, that show that we played at the Marquee with Soulfly recently, that was our comeback thing with Live Nation. So we actually got to play in Live Nation again. But no, we were off stage for a total of a year and 2 months before we got to go back on, and it was the most horrendous time ever for me, because that has always been my outlet. Like, I love being on stage. It's just, I turn into a completely different person up there, and anything that could possibly be wrong in my life, I don't care how big it is, going back on stage, being on that stage it's my happy place. Everything goes away.
Yeah.
And so when I couldn't do it, and like, you know, it's not even like, oh, you're not in a band right now or this or that or something. No, you legally are not allowed to do it right now. Like, being told that was just awful. So when we came back, I believe it was April 10th of this year. Oh man, it was almost the first time in a long time that I was nervous going back up there, because, you know, we hadn't been on there, and yeah, that one, there was a couple of parts of that show that went a little rough, you know. we tried to get as prepared as we could, but, you know, we had a year and 2 months of rust on there when we used to play shows like every freaking week.
Right. No, yeah, I agree. Like, I'm not a performer. I've never really been on stage much, but as a metal fan, you know, we're generally at least growing up, for me, my personal experience, there's not that many metalheads in my area. Okay. So my happy place has always been in the fucking crowd, you know, like, just finally I get to be around people that get it. And
Yeah.
when it all got taken away for a year and a half, it was hell. And it was like now I have nowhere. I don't have anywhere left to go where anybody understands the fucking shit that I like. You know what I mean? Like nobody can relate.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
finally getting to go back has been nothing short of just amazing. And so I'm really happy for you guys that you guys got that, and you got that great Midwest tour. And that was a sick t-shirt. I saw you guys post about that t-shirt. That was an awesome t-shirt too.
Yeah. There's
the Age of Extinction tour. That's right.
Yeah, there's gonna be some more stuff coming from that same artist that we're working with, so that's gonna be cool. The Northwest or Northern Wisconsin Metal Fest. That was the that was one of the highlights of that tour, and especially one of the highlights of our first first few months back, playing shows, was going able to play that. And, we got to meet, Reflection of Flesh, which are also with Keith, and
love those guys.
Absolutely awesome. We ended up hanging out with them that night and having lots of conversation.
No, those guys are great. I was actually just like a day or two ago, I had Blood of Angels on, and that was the first night on tour with Reflection of Flesh, and they walked up right at the end of the podcast. So I was like,
Nice.
No, I love those guys. They're great. And Garrett does that Dipping Milk in Cookies podcast that I love. I've listened to every episode.
Oh yeah.
He's great.
He's an awesome guy too. Yeah, I was talking with him Messenger a couple weeks ago, actually.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But all right, man, I have officially kept you for an hour, which is longer than we anticipated.
Good, man.
We can wrap this one up. Is there, real quick at the end, one more time, anything that you are allowed to plug coming up right now?
Just the shows I plugged in the beginning. Okay. For right now.
Right.
I mean, just, you can always keep an eye on us on Facebook, obviously, but we have boundbyyears.com. So if you go to boundbyyears.com, literally under the media section of that, the links to every possible social media and music platform that we're on, all the links are there. And then under the shows, you can keep an eye on the shows tab there, and that's always updated and it's listed of whatever might be coming up. And obviously when the veil of secrecy is lifted off of certain things that are going on, we will definitely be posting about it.
Yes.
A lot of reasons, I'll give that one away. Yeah, a lot of the times I've laughed in here will make a lot more sense.
Fair enough. Hell yeah. I can't wait. And links to all of that will be in the description below. I gotta say, you guys definitely have one of the best, and ultimately that's the problem with a lot. You have one of the best band websites that I've seen, because a lot of problem with band websites, metalheads are terrible at updating shit. So you guys keep it updated.
That means so much to me. I actually built that website.
It looks great. It works great. And just, like going to it, you feel up to date, and that's important. Like that's
I try to keep on it as much as possible. And I'm like I said, between Facebook stuff and being the social media guy, and I had to learn how to build the websites and everything to be the website guy. It's cheaper for me to learn it than it is for the band to pay for it. And
right.
I'm kind of the computer nerd in the band, so it worked out.
Yeah, no, that's the kind of what I had to do with this podcast. I had no idea what I was doing. So, but yeah, man. All right. Thank you so much for being on the show. This was an amazing talk. And when you are allowed to reveal more things in the future, you and everyone in Bound by Years is always welcome on to promote or anything at all. You guys are all welcome on this show anytime you want, ever. Matt, I really appreciate it. Yeah, man, I had a great time talking to you, man. Thank you so much, man. This has been amazing. This has been Chase from Bound by Years. Everyone Chance. Check him out. Or Chance from Bound by Years. Everyone check them out. All links in the description below. I'll end the recording and then we can hop off. All right, buddy? Cool. Thank you so much, man. This has been amazing. Yeah, man. Absolutely. Thank you. Now, when we started that one, I thought we only had like a half hour. He did have a hard out but he moved it during the show, and that blew me away. He was just having enough fun to keep it going, and absolutely means the world to me. I really, really fucking love that guy. That was an amazing conversation, and I cannot fucking wait to get to talk to him again. Bound by Years has a lot of things coming up. Not a lot he could tell us about yet, but that's all the more reason to check him out in the links in the description below. Follow along with them because they clearly have a lot more coming very, 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 very soon. So be sure to we'll be following along with all things Bound by Years, so you should too. They will be back, and hopefully we get to see them in the coming months. So we're fingers crossed for that. And from the bottom of my heart, I cannot thank Chance enough for being on the show. And it really meant the world to me that he gave us extra time and everything. And like, yeah. And based on the conversation you all just heard, I feel like once I get a chance to talk with the other guys, we're going to go off. So, that was genuinely awesome. Like, just, I don't know. Episodes like this are like, I never thought we'd get here, but after having done them, it's like, this is why I keep going. This is why I keep doing this, is to meet people like this, amazing, awesome, wonderful artists that just fucking kill it constantly. So thank you so much for being on the show. You are always welcome back. If you got something to promote, if you just want to shoot the shit, if you're just bored, like we all have been for the last year or two, you guys are welcome back any time. So everybody, be sure to check out all things Bound by Years. But without further ado, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Lost in the Dark podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. It's seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I can never, ever, ever, if you're seeing this right now, comment below, because I will personally thank you. Because I can never thank anybody enough for watching all these episodes and everything. You mean the fucking world to me, and it blows my mind. So please reach out. Please reach out, because nobody does. Nobody ever does. I feel like everybody's like, oh, somebody else will. No. For us, nobody else. I'm talking to you. Nobody else has. So please do. And the ones that have, half of them have ended up as guests on this fucking show. So please, if you're seeing this right now, reach out right now. Leave a comment below. I will see it, and I will personally respond, because you mean the fucking world to me. And it blows my mind that you have ever taken any interest in us. It's just crazy to me. So, everybody, that's going to do it for this episode of Lost in the Dark podcast. Thank you so much for joining. As always, raise your fucking horns and bang your goddamn heads. Turn some Bound by Years up to fucking 11, motherfuckers. We love you all to death. Good night. Blah.
Lost in the dark.